Oh God, what have I gotten into? John here, and today I'm going to kick off my reviews or rants on this Meg-A-Shark 8 film collection pack, as you can see on the back. And I'm going to talk about the first two films today and throughout the week, do the other films. Now, I will say this right off the bat. I do like creature features. Sometimes I can turn off my brain and have some dumb fun with a creature feature. But with these, especially watching the first two today, which were pretty bad, if those are an indication of the other 6 films I gotta watch, then I'm in for a treat. So kicking off with the first film on this collection pack, Toxic Shark. Yeah, that's the name of the first film, which was made by Sci-Fi Channel, Figures. Now, I was doing a little research on the film, just looking up information about it, and I'm looking at my phone because it moves a little faster than the computer, looking up info, but I think it premiered during Sharknado Week back in 2017, so it's a 2017 film. And the plot, I'm just going to read out the back here. I'm not going to really go in depth on the plot because there's no need to. Basically, you have a poisonous shark that stalks a holiday resort. It's pretty much like a singles retreat. This beast is not only rips apart its victims, but it hurls projectile acid at them. No one on the island is safe, in or out of the ocean. And that's pretty much it. That's pretty much the plot for Toxic Shark. And as you would expect, it's bad. Um, have I seen worse? I've seen worse, but it's pretty bad. It gets a 3.5 in IMDb, which something I was curious about because, I kept thinking about Jaws 4, The Revenge, which is a bad sequel. But I can't wrap my head around how Toxic Shark has a higher rating than Jaws 4. Neither of them are good. I get that. Both films suck. But if I had to pick one, I'd rather watch Jaws 4. At least you have Lance Guest. You have some capable actors in there. It's just a shitty sequel. You have Mario Van Peebles. You have Michael Caine. Jaws 4 is a comedy classic. I can laugh at that. Toxic Shark, I didn't laugh. Again, I just don't get that. How does Toxic Shark, where nothing makes sense, it's badly acted, I don't give a shit about the characters, there's not one actor or actress that I give a shit about, and that gets a higher rating than Jaws 4. So Jaws 4 is worse? I would say this film's worse. And I did write a little bit of notes here, just in case if some of this crap leaves me, because, again, this first film was bad, and the second film was not much better, so, I did write little info just to help remind me, for my sanity. But even like the film kicks off, you have the scene on the beach where this guy and girl are on this ATV or something like that, and you got this one dumb scene where the guy's like, "Hey, watch this," and he hits a fucking log. He hits a log and he flips over his, ATV or whatever, like he didn't see that log. And even in the beginning, like the guy and the girl, they go into the ocean and then they disappear. Like the shark, you don't even see no blood. You don't even see no kills. And the shark is really bad. I mean, CGI is sci-fi-esque, is what you expect out of sci-fi. Very, video game-like graphics. And again, especially in the beginning, those first 2 victims, they just disappeared. No blood. So, right off the bat, you're in for, a good time with this one. And, you got one thing about the film, some nice ass shots, nice looking women. But, of course, that doesn't save the film. You got this lead guy who, I want to get his name right, played by Bryce Durfee, and I couldn't give a shit about him. And really, these characters I could not give a shit about. I could not give a shit about these characters. I didn't give one shit. You know, I can't remember their names. You got this one scene where this, you know, yapping uncle who's complaining about fishing or whatever, you know, he gets eaten. And then you have the first shot, you get the first shot where the shark, I can't even say it's like something on the, this is, you know, what I'm going to say doesn't make sense, but that's toxic shark for you. Basically, it's this thing on top of the shark that shoots the acid. And it's like this green slime, like a green acid, but it doesn't even, what, fuck. The acid doesn't even burn. Like, you see the victims being sprayed by this acid, and it doesn't even burn. There's no practical effect. There's nothing happening. Like, you see them get sprayed by this green shit, but they don't even get, this movie is so fucking cheap. They can't even provide a practical effect. Like, they can't even, again, you see people get sprayed by this green shit, you know, this green acid, but they don't get burned. This movie's so cheap and so cheaply made that they can't even provide a practical effect for a burn, you know, for, you know, getting burned by this acid. You just see, you know, this bad CGI green liquid, this green acid being spewed out of the shark. And again, it's on top of the shark. It's not like he's, you know, hurling it out of his mouth. It's like this thing on top of the shark. Can't describe it. But that's the film for you. And again, you got the lead guy, you got his friend who's very annoying, and there's a couple of scenes in the film where he's trying to get out of this women's shirt that he's wearing. I'm like, why? Then you got one scene where this girl's riding a horse and the shark jumps out of the water, takes the girl off the horse, which was a random scene. And you got this one character named Reese, who is kind of in charge of the singles retreat. You know, he's sort of in charge of this whole thing. I didn't give a shit about his character. I can't remember the actor's name, but you know, and you have this lead, and you know, I talk about the lead guy. You also have this lead girl, and you find out that they used to be a thing, and they bump into each other on the island, and they're like, "What are you doing here?" You know, because they broke up. I'm like, how did they? I don't like. You met your ex on this singles retreat, and you didn't hear one thing about her going. That's what. Do not think about it, John. Do not think about it. Don't think about it. Don't think about it. But, you know, you got these couple of scenes where a couple of characters get infected by something and they start to spaz out, and which has nothing to do with the shark. I know it was explained, but really, who gives a shit why these characters were infected? And the long story short, I can't. The comeuppance. Well, you first off, you get a couple of moments like straight out of the Predator, like, you know, you have this one girl that was accidentally shot by a harpoon, so you get some hijinks there. And then the shark's comeuppance is pretty bad. I mean, the shark blows up in CGI glory, and you know, it's again, it's bad CGI. You got green acid flying everywhere and green, you know, just all CGI. And I know what I'm describing makes no sense, but that's the film. That's Toxic Shark for you. Nothing makes sense. It's hard to, yes, I wrote down a few things here just to help me remember a few scenes. Because nothing about this film, again, I don't give a shit about the characters. I don't give a shit. I don't give it. This director, Cole Sharp, that's the only film he's directed. I looked him up on IMDb. No wonder. Made by Sci-Fi Channel. Who would have thought? The shark looks horrendous. Horrendous CGI. And again, I know there's some people out there that like these types of films. There's an audience out there that likes this type of creature feature where you can really turn off your brain. It gets a 3.5 on IMDb. I've seen some of the reviews, talk about how it's a really fun movie. To each his own. If you like this film, that's fine. And again, I can enjoy a creature feature. More, there's films in the past that I can name creature features that I love. But this film, again, where you have a shark that shoots acid, not from its mouth, but from like the roof of its head. And when it sprays the victims with this green acid, it doesn't even burn them. Like you just see them get sprayed by this green shit, and they came in, there's no burn effect. There's not one practical effect where they get burned. You just see them get sprayed with the green acid. It might as well be Nickelodeon slime because it's not burning them. It might as well just be Nickelodeon slime. The shark's comeuppance is lame. The cast is lame. So, yeah, that's my rant on this movie. It's just a really bad movie. And I can't decide which is worse, this film or the next one, Shark in Venice, starring Stephen Baldwin. But that's my quick thoughts / rant on Toxic Shark, if I can get it out right. And again, it may, describing it is weird, but that's the film. It's a hard watch. It was difficult to watch because nothing makes sense. You don't give me one character, even if you like the film. If people out there like the film, give me one character that you actually cared about. Give me a scene that you cared about. It's shit. It's toxic shit. That's what I'm going to call it. It's toxic shit. So I'm going to stay away from that. But I know we're not done because next I'm going to review Shark in Venice. Yippee, yippee. So stay tuned for my review of that, and thank y'all for watching.